Good morning, Prikshit. How are you?
I'm good. What
Okay.
about you?
I am hanging in there. I know it's later in the day for you, but it's bright and early for us. Hello there, Akshita. How you doing?
I'm fine, Linda. How are you?
I am good. Happy to see you back.
We were happy to be here.
Okay, will all four of your team be joining us?
No, just the two of us will be present.
Just the two of you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna check,
Let
make
us know,
sure.
Linda. We can go ahead.
All right, stand by. I'm gonna get everything prepared.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go through all the rules one more time, although I'm sure you're very familiar with them now.
Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to day 3 of the Global Scaling Challenge. Today's company is Wildlife Protection Management. First up is Team 1, which is FORE, Foundation for Organization for Research and Education out of India. We welcome you back. You are our People's Choice Award winner for Asia. So well done, well done. The session will last for 20 minutes. The team will have 10 minutes to present. When there is 2 minutes remaining, I will type that in the Q&A. At 1 minute, I will do the same and turn my camera on. When you see me, that means you have a minute remaining in your presentation time. If you go over your 10 minutes, any time that you have left will be deducted from the Q&A. The session is only 20 minutes. I ask the judges, and I thank them all for being here, of going to the Q&A tab under the session on the right-hand side. I have posted the link for the judge scorecard. If you would please make sure that you have Team 4-1, the first session of the day. I am Linda Stewart. I am your moderator for the first session this morning. And whenever you're ready, Akshita, please begin.
Oh, we're ready, Linda. We'll start right ahead. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, warm greetings to everybody present, all the judges and everybody that are watching us. So, we're Team 4-1 from FORE School of Management, New Delhi. And the firm today we'll be presenting is Wildlife Protection Management. Next slide. Just to give you a very brief introduction about what the firm is, it is an organization that uses advanced technology to, and the founder has a really big passion towards working in this industry, and it basically works to develop a product called Remote Wildlife Vaccine Delivery System, which is a patented, groundbreaking approach to achieve population goals in wild and federal animals like horses and deers. But basically, they are targeting horses at the moment. And this is a human way, a safe, effective way, and there won't be any checkups and roundups that will happen. So, according to the founder, it said that each year in US, their free roaming horse population increases. And this vaccine management system has the potential to dramatically improve population management of the wild and feral horses through a more effective, safe vaccination program and by eliminating the stress and expense of helicopters and roundups. Next slide, Prikshit. Starting right ahead with the scaling process, we have divided the scale-up process into 4 basic parts that we're going to proceed with. The first is we're understanding what the market is. Secondly, we're analyzing what is the use of technology and how the company has incorporated it. Third, we'll identify the target audience and position it. And lastly, we will use networking and partnerships to expand the reach. Next. To identify what we need to do, we categorize 3 major challenges that the company will face in scaling up. First is basically how they will use the wildlife population in a single high-tech solution. So they'll have to innovate constantly, and that is what we're going to be addressing. Second is to expand their operations and find the right target audience. And third is sales and logistic division with mass production delivery system. Next picture. So what is the targeting solution that we're providing? Firstly, animals are attracted with the bait to the station. Secondly, that uses a centralization station management and it uses contraceptives, it provides vaccines, and it also procures like a RFID chip, which will help them track. And it also has a streaming video on, which was used for gender identification and animal monitoring. Next slide.
Yeah, thanks, Akshita. Now I will be taking on the primary research that we have done. We have done the, to understand the various perception of the potential consumer or potential investors. We have done the primary research. In that research type is we conducted in-depth interviews and telephonic conversation with the potential customers. The 68 respondents participated in our research, which includes private and government veterinary hospitals, government officials that are related or directly and indirectly related to the wildlife, stable owners, universities, non-profit organizations, and research institutions. So basically, insights we got after talking to them, after conducting in-depth interviews with them, that private and government veterinary hospitals need a solution like chip tracking for early detection and treatment of disease. They are interested in this type of technology which are not present in India and many other countries like Africa. We conducted our primary research in our country also, and we got to know that many government and private hospitals are facing this issue. They and the the customers that come to the veterinary hospitals, they the main problem is that there is no early detection of this thing, disease and various problems that animals face. So this is the one of the main insight we got. Now government officials and private players want to invest in product if the product can be used for all the animals. They are saying that it should not be limited to only horses. It should be expanded to the kangaroos. It should be expanded to other animals, which will be beneficial for them and which will be beneficial for the animal itself. Now, stable owners and domestic dairy and poultry owners are ready to make an investment in this type of technology because they are earning a huge revenue from their activities for doing this business. So they want that their animals or their birds should be in a healthy condition. They want a device. They want a technology to detect any temperature variations, any irregularities in the animals and the birds, and the potential disease they cause. They want an early detection system of this. And one other research insight we got, that research institution want to work on similar technology and need this product for a research purposes for the welfare of the betterment of the animals. Going on to the process, what we will be doing, we'll be tying up with local NGOs and local bodies to create the awareness and demand of the product. We'll be doing the modification of existing products and expansion of the product line, because by this we can generally increase the TAM, SAM, and SOM in the domestic market as well as the global market. Actually, the thing is, while talking to the respondents, we got to know that there is a demand of this product because but the market for this product is very niche. So they are saying that we need this similar type of product, but in other with customizations we do need this product. So we should in the company should invest more in technology than marketing to make it this is a as a successful venture. We should tie up with research lab and institutions. They will help us with the technology part and research part. They will from there we will get the new fresh up ideas, new perspectives, that how can we expand the our product line, because we can also target the poultry farms. We can also target the segment of dairy farming. We can also target hospitals and veterinary hospitals, and domestic animals or pets. So benefits we will be getting from this: increase in sales and revenue of the firm, modular configuration, and software customization for clients. Now going on, Akshita will explain customer development.
So to understand what we're going to be selling, we need to understand what the customers are and what our ideal customers are. So according to us, the ideal target market we need to focus on is basically pitching this to state and central governments that can be used in forests, and so that the wildlife is used and tracked in a better and efficient way in terms of, and they're given proper contraceptives and all that timely, and vaccines also. So what is the need? Because there are safe, efficient human ways of vaccination and health monitoring for various species that are mentioned. And what channels can we use to let people know about this? We can use social media platforms. We can be part of a lot of conferences that happen around the world on these issues, and we can pitch our ideas to investors there. We can do word of marketing, and we can use volunteers also. And what is the method can we use to maintain this customer growth? We can focus on positioning it. We can give an add-on to the existing product, and we can constantly innovate, because as Prikshit said, we need to customize the product based on the user needs. So that is how we can constantly innovate. Next slide. Networking and partners. Obviously, to find people, we need to partner, and the company is looking for partners to help bring this technology to the world, and this would help them expand their reach and to invest and to talk to people from non-profits working in the sector and incorporate their ideas. Then they can understand what the perception of the market is. They can incorporate the ideas, and they can use the resources very effectively. They can partner with firms with similar vision. We came up with this firm, World Wildlife Funds, which is basically works in the wildlife preservation and reduction of human impact in the United States and a lot of other countries. So partnering with the big firms, some like this, could help us moving forward if they incorporate this into their funding and provide us a lot of funding in that scenario. Next picture. Advocacy. We need to find, we need to advocate this channel a lot forward. So WPM needs advocates to share this information. People, it is a very niche market. People are not aware of it. So we need to find and share this information to policymakers, land management agencies, veterinarians, researchers, so that they know about what the company is trying to do, and what it brings about change in the wildlife preservation and protection management. So it will help bring out a very human system of practicing, and also reduce labor. They won't have to be regular checkups. So according to us, we can improve advocacy in the way that we can use volunteers, and we can partner and advocate the cause. We think that the company can start like a volunteer internships for students, and they can pitch their ideas as a volunteering drive to various universities, which will add to the workforce and obviously broaden our horizons. Next slide, picture. Just to finish, conclude with just the benefits that are highlighted. We'll be profitable, there'll be more employment, we'll be optimizing our resources, and obviously global growth in terms of partnership. The global benefits is that the community will be enriched, there will be easy animal identification, advocacy, and volunteering programs that will be effective. With this, we conclude our presentation, and we're open to questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, right on time. I ask that all of the judges please ask their questions in the Q&A tab, and I will read them as they come. First question, are there any similar models in the market?
We have analyzed the competitors. If we take direct competitors, there's nothing similar to this in the market. But if we take very indirectly, there is somewhat, there is a competition from other non-profit organizations, but there is not something exactly similar to what the company is trying to do.
Thank you. How do the private investors benefit?
Prikshit, could you add on that?
Yeah. Just on to that, if the company, we have explained the scale-up process. The company is doing currently, it is targeting the very niche market by, while you are asking me about the private investors, they can, while investing, the company should do constantly innovate the products and do the modifications of the product, because there is a huge demand of other types of the similar products, but there is a need of huge customization of this product. Going to the poultry farms, they are asking for the similar kind of products, but with the customization. going to the dairy farms, they are asking for the similar product on the similar ground, but with the customization. And when we are going to the government officials, they are telling that this product is good. We will be investing in this product, but they, the product, the benefits the product is providing, that the benefits should be expanded. The product should the cater to the all the animals and should expand in the, you know, targeting all the animals.
Just adding to what Prikshit said, I think the private investors will really benefit from this in terms of ROI also. If they're investing, the company will have profitable and increased sales revenue, and they will work in different countries as specified by the vision of the founder. So that is how they will benefit in that terms as well.
Thank you. Do you think the cost of implementation of this technology compares with existing technology?
We feel that this technology has not been used, and this will be more cost effective because eventually we've read that in United States there is obviously an overpopulation of wild and feral horses. So if we use something like this, and they have to be like a routine checkup of this, people have to work a lot, there has a lot of workload on people. This does not reduce employment, but it does help them not check out in remote, and they can also monitor this, so that helps in that section a lot. Prikshit, would you like to add? No, I think, yeah.
No, just
Just that.
Thank you. We have about 6.5 minutes remaining in this session. How adaptable is the technology to different sized animals?
The company has been working on that, and they have put up the basic, that the prototype that has been given to us is basically for wild and feral horses and is put into that use. But they have been expanding to other countries, wanting to expand to other countries, and is okay to go for deers. It is okay to go for kangaroos and a few of other sort of horses or different types of species as well. It wants to go ahead and work on the innovation, and that's what the company is doing.
Thank you. Would you please address the scaling up strategy of the hardware from a manufacturing perspective?
Prikshit, could you add on that?
Yes, just while tying up with the research, while tying up with the research institutions, we will get the technology perspective for the manufacturing thing, and we will be innovating the product as a whole, which will be catering to the whole new segment of the market, and which will eventually, while we are targeting to the mass market, which it will eventually, grow our grow the size of the firm, and it will increase the revenue. So by this product should be, we are not saying that the firm should do the immediate modifications in this product. This product should be continued, and in 1 or 2 years the modification should be done in this product, but rather focusing solely on this product. We are not suggesting the firm to focus solely on this product. The firm should do the manufacturing of other similar line of products and technology.
Thank you. Competing methods are less humane, but well established with lobby. For instance, hunting. How will you approach this?
This is something that the company has been advocating about, and that is why it requires volunteers. Also, there was a lot of things that came into this, being that people were not were wanting that this was humane, but eventually there were people who were advocating the fact that there should not be monitoring of horses. But if we put this into perspective, it will be less. You can actually monitor what the horses are like, the diseases and the vaccination, so it effectively helps them in the long run. So in terms of hunting, we feel that basically there's not something we can do about, or we can actually know of what the situation is or what the location is. Basically we can track that using the RFID.
Thank you. We have about 4 minutes remaining in the session. One of the judges missed the specific product. Can you please explain what the product is?
The product is, Prikshit, if you could just present the slide. our first
Yeah,
slide.
sure.
Yeah, so the product is a remote wildlife vaccine delivery system, and it has it looks something like a big a pit of for a horse, and the horse needs to go in, and that's where they will get the vaccine. That's where they'll get vaccinated, and it is basically very safe, efficient, and they don't have to be a lot of follow-ups. They put a RFID chip on the horse. There'll be microchips installed, so they can access what's where the horse is, the location of it, what disease it's going to, the body temperature. It's basically like pulling out a chart from a hospital directory, and you know what's happening to that horse. Basically, you know what is going on into that, and it helps in animal management. I think this helps.
Thank you. What are your funding needs?
The funding, Prikshit,
Yes. Yeah, we have divided our scaling up process in three phases. By going on to first to 2 years, we will not be need any funding because we are only doing. We are not looking for any innovations or any new specific, expansion of our product line. We are just focusing on the marketing part. We will be tying up with the NGOs, the research institutions, the local bodies, which already are working on, animals. Which are already working on this thing, so they will be helping us creating the need of the product. Eventually they will be giving us the our market. They will be creating awareness for us, and they will be providing us with the solutions. So we are not exactly looking for the funding thing. We are looking for the funding thing in the next phase, which is in going by the 3 to 5 years, when we will a good setup brand. We will be a setup firm which have already a good amount of market, and we are generating up the revenue. Then we will look for the investors and do other product expansion.
So clearly, we're looking for partnerships in the first phase, and that's how we'll
Yes.
fund and use the resources and use together and provide this move forward. Yes.
Thank you. We have about 1 minute remaining in the session. Are there any other questions from the judges, please? Is there a possible exit event in the future?
There won't be an exit event in the future. I think this will be extremely helpful in the future, because the main challenge and the reason why the founder got into this line was because of overpopulation of horses. And every year, just in the United States, there's a growth of at least 20% of what the horse population is, and there is an increase of that. So exit event in the future, we believe that this will only work ahead, and this will actually help us reduce, because we'll be putting on contraceptives, and this will help in that sector, that there won't be a lot of overpopulation. There will be a lot of wild and feral horses going around in the countries.
Yes, and going by the next 5 to 10 years, I guess there is no exit event for the company. The company, have the scope to grow exponentially in market size and the revenue thing. So that's it.
Okay, our time is up. I'd like to thank Akshita and Prikshit for joining us here today. Thank you again, and congratulations on the People's Choice Asia Award. I look forward to seeing you at the end of this event and cheering everybody on. Thank you so much for participating. Judges,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Judges, please enter your This is the Johannes Kepler group number 1, the Free Thinkers. I would like to congratulate you on your win of the tie of first place for the grand prize. And you also had the tie for best strategy for opportunity identification. So well done, congratulations. We're so happy to have you join us. Again, judges, this is the JKU Team 1. Whenever you are ready, you may begin.
Of course, thank you very much. I assume everyone can see my screen. Super. So, hello everybody, once again, from sunny Linz in Austria. We are the Free Thinkers. My name is Anastasios Gourountis, and together with Lukas Hammerich, Isabella Glowacz, and Angela Milicevic, we will present you our growth strategy for WPM. To continue with the needs of the company, we recognize three major factors. The one is to protect the environment. The second one is to achieve a sustainable populations, especially in the wildlife part. And the third is to monitor the health and track the animal location. So this is the most important when it comes to the values of the company, and this is what we are going to try to achieve later on. But Lukas will continue on with a more financial strategic approach.
Thank you so much, Tassos. Because actually, at WPM, we identified one key challenge. We need to create a business model and find partners to actually scale up the revenues of wildlife protection management. And here we first of all had a look on the market, and we thought about in what kind of markets can we expand with that strategy. And we got some first with a sales growth strategy. Later on, we are going to talk about a market approach a little bit, and in the end about how we also implement the branding strategy and how we're going to secure that. And as I said, we identified some potential markets for wildlife protection management. And on the next slide, we're going to show you what kind of numbers we actually found with these markets. Because at the beginning, we tried to have a look on the worldwide sales of vaccines, medicines, and medical devices for companion elements, so for pets. And there's a market of about 8 billion euros of annual revenue. However, we think that there would need to be so many adjustments to the product just because of the smaller size of pets that they normally have, that we are thought about going maybe into another market would be a better strategy. Second, we thought about sales of vaccines and medicines for livestock animals, which is even a bigger market, worth about 14 billion euros of annual revenue. And then we had a look on the cattle market or on cattle farms, and there are worldwide about 1 billion cattle. And then we thought maybe it would be a very good idea to go to farms as potential end customers. And then we had a look on what kind of farms are there actually on the world. And there are some very big farms regarding size. For example, if we have a look on the Anna Creek farm in Australia, this has roughly a size of the country of Israel. So they could really use and need devices like this, like from wildlife protection management, to actually do all the vaccination and to all the medication for the different animals. However, our idea is not to directly approach the cattle farms and the animals, but to work together with the pharma industry as first customers. On the right-hand side, you can see the sales shares in the global pharmaceutical market by region. And one thing that is really obvious here is that the American market is by far the biggest market with almost 50% of market share worldwide. And therefore, we want to focus as the pharma industry as a first customers and directly sell the device to them so that they can use it later on. Also, this market is constantly growing. Lastly, it has been growing at a rate of about 4% in 2019. And in this industry, there is a strong investment potential. So as I said, we're going to approach key pharma companies and sell the device to them. So then they can approach cattle farms. Now you may have the question, why would they be interested in actually getting this product? And the strategy here is, as I said, direct sales and sell the device in large numbers to key customers in the industry, so only B2B sales, so that they can use a razor and blade approach. What do we mean by this? They can go to the livestock farms and sell the device relatively cheaply, so that they are not actually making a lot of revenues through the selling of the device, but they are making revenues, and that is their customer value, through the expensive medication that is going with the machine. So the pharma industries are buying the device in large numbers that they can later on sell it to cattle farms to other farms with big mammals, with big animals, and then can, as a service, provide them with a medication and with a vaccination that is needed for them. And also, we think that the cattle farm industry has a huge interest in having animals that are healthy and animals that are vaccinated, and therefore we see a very huge potential here. And we also thought about some key partners. As I said, we actually want to go especially on the North American market because we see the biggest potential here. However, with this strategy, we believe we can also expand internationally. And we are convinced that there is such a big buying power and a great interest, especially in the pharma industry, that we could boost sales in the next couple of years with this kind of strategy.
Thank you very much, Lukas. As we just saw, the figures are great, the plan is great. We can be billionaires very quick. But being billionaire and not following the ideals and the values of the company that you just created, sometimes it's not fun. While being a millionaire, we didn't see someone complaining being a millionaire and following the values of the company. So we thought of an additional plan, which is actually related to the social growth, to create a digital platform in order to engage an online community. This is a demo project, the Protective Mustangs, that we exclusively created for the competition. And the sole purpose is to collect all the wildlife enthusiasts in one single digital space, of course, under the auspices of WPM, explore new wildlife cases which need immediate attention and discover new cases. We have some examples later on. And also to direct the opportunity of identification for potential markets. Of course, we have also some engagement procedures, ideas with reward system for the volunteers. And last but not least, we have the awareness of the innovative solutions that WPM has to offer for not only the general public of the volunteers, but also the organization and the companies. And the fun fact, 41% of individuals that are actually volunteering, it's because they were asked to do so. So by having this platform, we have also the opportunity to have a volunteer network. This is a web page and it's actually live. It's just a landing page to indicate how a social platform would look like. If you're interested, you can go to this website and actually look further. We created it exclusively for this competition. And let's say that I'm an individual and I'm an enthusiast in the wildlife. And I went to this platform, and I managed to find the opportunity to declare some facts that are actually important. Let's take, for example, the case of the Krikri goat. The Krikri goat is a magnificent goat located in the island of Creta in southern Greece. It's not officially endangered by the major organizations, although the population is decreasing and it's not monitored, and this population is of around 2,000 goats. And it has a significant importance in the local history and, of course, in the tourism of the island. And we know that the Ministry of Environment and Energy of Greece has funds related with the preservation of wildlife. This is some information that it would need a kind of big budget in order to obtain. But we managed to obtain through the platform and the enthusiasts for basically free. And let's say that we have another case. Let's say that I'm another person now. We have the case of the Cretan Animal Welfare Society. I'm a member of this society myself. We have no sufficient budget to monitor the goats, and we don't with the current technologies and the processes. So we need help from WPM. And we also have some veterinarians that they're willing to help for free, and we have immense amounts of information regarding the goats and the ecosystem. So what we do, we invite all the team of WPM to join. This is a theoretical scenario, but of course it could be true, and we could also enjoy the sun of Greece in the beach with some raki. So how many potentials we could recognize globally that are actually potential cases and potential opportunities? Close to 41,000, actually more than 41,000. Whoa, that's great. And of course, they're not all, in our case, many of them are regarding endangered species like birds and other animals that they're not ready according to our current innovative machine that we have, but we're getting there. Regarding the funding, We're still in the angel investor stage, as we already know from the information, but with significant funding, we can climb in both strategies. Lower funding for the social impact and the platform funding, and also with state funding, which could even achieve better results. And without any further ado, we have achieved all the benefits with this strategy. We create a strong community and awareness regarding wildlife. We are in a global scale wildlife protection under the name of WPM, so we are becoming leaders in this field. And we have also large amounts of information and data regarding the potential market. We would like to thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the presentation as much as we did. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the team. Judges, I ask that you go ahead and start entering your questions. And Anastasios, yes, I have visited Crete. It is an amazing place. We definitely need to have a team go there, and I volunteer. Your first question, I'm going to ask this question. I'm going to step out because I can't hear anything. I will be back in a moment. Installing this product on a farm may be impractical. These animals don't turn over much. Once the farm population is chipped and immunized, what happens next? Monitoring only? Is that efficient? Oh, there we are.
Well, in this case, we try to really focus on very big farms, and we have the feeling that this is really a need for big farms because they have animals of like 1,000 animals and way more sometimes, and therefore we have the feeling that especially the big farms are in need of this kind of devices to keep track of the whole population, to keep track of the whole animals that they have on the farms, and therefore we are convinced that this is an efficient model. Yeah.
There was actually a couple of parts to that. Once the farm population is chipped and immunized, what happens next? Monitoring only?
This is actually a very good question. Yes, through the monitoring process, and from what we saw from the data that we have right now, they could increase the amount of data which they collect from the animals. So even the monitoring data would be sufficient for such an investment, rather other than the injection of the chip and the injection of the vaccine.
Thank you. The technology is patented. Do you see any revenue opportunity from licensing the patent?
Run, absolutely, because we have the feeling, first of all, we need to be in touch with the key partners we want to work with, but then later on, we could also change it to more like a licensing model that you were just talking about in the question. And we think that in the future, this is maybe even more profitable than the way we were approaching it right now, but only in the long run.
Thank you. We have about 7.5 minutes remaining in the session. You have a great vision, but where would you start first?
Absolutely from the digital plan, meaning the digital platform. We believe that it will be closer to the ideals of the company and the values of the company, and it will even give more room for further scaling up. But it's a great start, and it's also not that you don't need millions to implement this idea. So it's actually a realistic opportunity.
Thank you. Can you provide financial versus time? How much investment do you need?
Well, I think we need two different kinds of investment for the social strategy that Hasis was just referring to, or to the other more aggressive strategy, let's say it like this. And in the social strategy, we thought about an initial investment of about $1 to $1.5 million to start with, to actually go on these platforms to get some attention. For the other strategy, we would need to have a bigger initial investment, we were thinking about $4 to $5 million just to set up the production and to also make the production in such a way that it can also meet the demand that is then there and that we expect when working together with the pharma industry and when concentrating on these bigger mammals that live in livestock.
Thank you. How much does the device cost?
We don't exactly know the cost of the device. We could just calculate the separate technologies that came up together, and a rough estimation, including installation, would be still under 6 figures, and under 5 figures, which is our rough estimation, as I said before.
Thank you. There is about 5 minutes remaining in the session. What funding steps do you envision for ambitious scaling?
We would definitely go for ambitious scaling into the funding also in the pharmaceutical industry, because we think this is then a device that can be used by this kind of industry. And we would approach venture capitalists and convince them from the vision that we actually have to achieve what I already said, like an initial investment of $5 million.
Okay, I think we already asked this question. How much investment do you need? Can you provide financials versus time? How much investment do you need?
Our experience in Johannes Kepler University, we're specialized with the platform economy and the digital platforms, would say that such a project, at least for the digital platform part, is around 500,000 US dollars. US dollars.
Thank you. There's still about 3.5 minutes remaining. Judges, please continue to ask questions. Does the device usable life is enough to cover the device's cost? And if so, how was this tested?
I would say that currently we do not have this information, but regarding the parts that are included in the device and the ability to change them relatively easily, as they can be separated, and with, of course, all the knowledge with the engineers, I would say that the cost wouldn't be insufficient. So the investment should be valuable in the long term.
Thank you. How does the solution in farms compare to the current methods?
Well, regarding the technology, we think that this is very similar to the current methods, because this is also where we focus on farms, because the size of the cows that are on farms, for example, are very similar to the size of horses, and therefore the technology would remain more or less the same. I mean, regarding the chipping, you also have to take into consideration how necessary is it, like on a big farm, to do all the chipping. However, we believe that also there it is very similar to the initial product, and the technology doesn't change that much. This is also the reason why we actually decided to go for this kind of market, because for almost all other animals, all other things that came to our mind, you have a different size, you would need to adapt the product, you would need to adjust a lot of things, and therefore we believe that in farming, the technology doesn't change that much or that radically.
We have about 1.5 minutes remaining. Have you modeled your approach from another in a different application?
Sorry, but was the previous question answered about the competing technology?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you are correct. What do you see as the main competitor or competing technology?
Well, we have recognized that the product is truly innovative. It means that there is not an automated device that is making vaccinations and shipping at the same time and with a harmless and ethical way that the device is doing. There are some devices from Elatco company specifically that they use it's the pistol shape for vaccinations, and they use it to do massive vaccinations, but still it's under the operation of the human factor. So an employee is needed, a human is needed in order to make the vaccine still. So we have the competitive advantage when it comes to innovation.
Thank you. Now I'll ask the last question. We have about 15 seconds left. Have you modeled your approach from another in a different application?
Answered really quick for the more radical approach, and there definitely, I mean, we just try to make like this razor blade approach for the pharmaceutical industry, and we modeled this from some other things. I mean, espresso is one of the best examples here, and for the other approach, maybe Tasos, you can say something about this.
Is allowing us, but I guess, we have time.
Go ahead and answer.
Thank you very much. Generally, the platform economy and generally the platform communities are a powerful instrument that we can use in order to not only promote the device and the innovative technology that our engineers have, but to also increase the awareness about the values that WPM want to indicate. And this is the most important thing regarding the online communities. And this is why we highlight in every single sentence our strong belief that if we follow this approach, there is a very high chance that WPM will be a global leader in wildlife protection.
All right, the session is complete. I'd like to thank the team from JKU, group number 1, Free Thinkers, for joining us again. Again, excellent job. I think this has been a great presentation, and I hope you'll stay and watch the rest of the presentations. Judges, I'm going to give you a couple of more minutes to complete your forms. I've posted the link for the scorecard here, and we'll get ready for JKU team number 2.
Thank you. All right, so you guys remember the procedure, I'm sure, but 10 minutes for your presentation and 10 minutes for questions after that. And we'll give Linda like 30 more seconds, then I'll start you.
Start without me. I'm here.
We can hear you. Okay, they're all set, so
Excellent.
You can begin them whenever you'd like.
Oh.
Okay, so hello, good morning, good evening, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank you on behalf of my team for the award for Day 2 win. We are very happy about that, and we had a great time participating and presenting our challenge, our strategies in the challenge. We are Group 2 of Johannes Kepler University, and today we are going to present the scaling strategy for the firm case, wildlife, and protection management. With the automated remote system, WPM wants to achieve its mission of maintaining sustainable populations in many different species all around the world. An important aspect of that is the control of overpopulation without great interference into the natural habitat of the animals. Furthermore, bringing back the wildlife as well as the eradication of diseases is another important step towards humans and animals getting the possibility of living peacefully side by side. WPM addresses grand challenges such as the health of humans and access to water, as well as the sustainable development goal of life on land to ensure sustainability of life on Earth. This could be achieved by establishing a global network of like-minded people, as issues of sustainability and grand challenges do not only affect one single country, but the whole world. To build a global network, WPM needs to expand to other countries outside the US. When we take a look at the AG tech market, we can see that Europe is the second largest market after the US, followed by Far East and China. The AG tech market was valued at $9.1 billion in 2020 and is estimated to be worth $22.6 billion in 2025. The leading segment here is the farm management and monitoring solutions, which fits the product of the company. Therefore, there can be seen a huge potential for the company to get further established on this market with their product. There is no specific target market we suggest to focus on when following this strategy, because the target market depends on the built communities in the specific countries. However, Europe and Australia can be seen as potential markets for the company, as there are a lot of factors which promote establishing the system there, such as the number of wild and national parks. But now let's have a closer look on our proposed approach for WPM. As a first step, we suggest a crowdfunding campaign to promote the concept, as well as to create a global network at the same time. The crowdfunding is not used for profit maximization. Instead, the main aim of this strategy is to spread the attention and ecological awareness about the mission and the project. Consequently, the goal is to establish partnerships with NGOs and social enterprises all around the world. The partnership works in such a way that WPM produces and ships the special component, which is the patented cooling system, together with instructions on how to build up the entire system to its partners. The partners, which are NGOs or social enterprises, then are responsible for the sale, maintenance, production, and assembly of the remaining components. So the complete remote system can be sold and given to the local governments, as well as legal authorities, which are usually responsible for the national and wild parks. The partners get money from the sale of the complete system to the local governments and are self-financing the production of the rest of the components. WPM gets money from the crowdfunding and from the sale of the patented cooling system to the partners. The company receives no shares of the sales from the complete systems to the governments, as the risk is minimized for them in this approach, and they do not follow a profit-oriented strategy, but rather are focused on further research and development. The advantage to go for already established NGOs and social enterprises as partners is that they already have knowledge about the market and its conditions. So to sum it up, if there is an enterprise interested in the project and would like to follow the same mission or contribute to it, WPM would partner up with them and they would get all the information they need to put the system together, as well as the cooling system produced by WPM itself. The partners would then take on the production of the other components, assembly and maintenance, as well as the sales part to the local authorities, as they have greater knowledge about the legal requirements and the general conditions on this market. And now my colleague will continue with telling you more about the benefits of our suggested approach.
So what are the benefits of our approach? As we did not want to change the company's mission, which is creating wildlife management solutions that respect stakeholders and especially the animals, our approach still makes it possible for WPM to focus on the pursuit of their social mission. We did not consider going into the farming industry, as this would not correspond with their social mission. This means with our approach, they can still use the product to ensure the safe vaccination and chipping of the wildlife for preventing or detecting diseases, as well as for the prevention of overpopulation. And in turn, it could also be used the other way around, for example, for rewilding animals. Another benefit of our approach is that the founder team, which consists of scientists, engineers, ranch managers, and also outdoor enthusiasts, can continue to focus on the research and development of their wildlife management solutions. They do not have to deal with things like marketing or finding legal authorities to whom they can sell and other related activities, because these activities are really up to the partners of WPM. In addition, by focusing on research and development, the adaptation of the systems to other animals can be developed faster. In addition, as WPM will partner up with NGOs and other social enterprises, they already have access to a huge customer base and can profit from the established communities of the NGOs and social entities. They can profit in a way as that they can increase the awareness of their company very quickly due to the established networks and benefit from the knowledge their partners already have on the market. Another advantage is that WPM can reduce its risk due to the outsourcing of the marketing, assembly, and maintenance activities to their partners. Also, for example, the finding of customers and sale to the local authorities is taken over by the partners. So thus, WPM can really only focus on delivering the cooling technology to its partners and also on the further development of the software for example, the facial recognition, and also on some other R&D aspects. In terms of the competition, WPM has competitors around the globe, of which one of the top three are Zoetis, Elanco, and Boehringer. However, these competitors offer other products such as, for example, vaccines, medicines, or diagnostic products, but nothing really similar to WPM. Therefore, the products from the competitors can also be seen rather as complementary products to WPM's system. Additionally, in comparison to its competitors, WPM's unique selling proposition is the patented cooling system. Moreover, another difference to the competitors is that their system allows for a particularly humane vaccination and chipping process, where no animal has to be caught or stressed in any way. In addition, compared to other competitors that work, for example, with drones, there is again no risk to stress the animals or to provoke even injuries. Additionally, the whole product is adaptable to the different types of animals. Besides that, feral and wildlife populations are difficult and costly to manage humanely and at scale, but WPM manages it in a comprehensive and very cost-effective way. To top it all off, in our approach, WPM offers their software as a service in the form of cloud computing. This means the clients which install a system in their country can access the data gathered from the animals via the internet using a software that will be offered by WPM. So that's it. This was our strategy for WPM. Thank you for listening, and we're happy to answer your questions now.
Thank you very much. This is the Johannes Kepler team number 2. Wonderful presentation. Judges, I ask you to please start asking your questions in the Q&A section. Your first question. Your model requires quite some knowledge of the total system at the partner. How can you manage that?
Well, it wasn't said clearly in the presentation, but the communication with this partner would be made more transparent by open sourcing the base model. So the system by WPM is very modular. With this cooling device, which is patented, with the camera setup, with the facial recognition, there are apps and services in between. And by making the core model open source, the partners have all the knowledge, all the information that are required for setting this up. And only the specialized components which are patented by WPM will be the ones that are monetized by the system.
Thank you. Can you explain your cooling system?
Yes, I can take on this one. So the cooling system of the system is a technology which enables the cooling in a box of the vaccines at any given temperature, and it could adapt to any environment. So it can really be used anywhere.
Is the patent limited to the cooling system?
Actually, this is something that we know from the presentation done by the company, because they already patented their cooling system, which is able to put the temperature at the precise level, which is very required for the vaccination. So as per now, yes, but we also got the information that they are working on the software of the facial recognition for the horses, and that could be also further developed for the other animals. And this is the potentially next product. That's why we would be happy if the wildlife management would work on the R&D only, and the new patents will come soon. But as per now, we would suggest to focus on the cooling system, as it already patented, and this is their innovation.
Thank you. The cooling system was a critical part of the solution and is patented. What are the performance and cost advantages and the resulting user benefits of this approach versus the competition?
I would say that the main benefits of it, of course, this is already said, the cooling system, but also with the partners who are going to handle the production, the main benefit would be that we would provide all the knowledge about the station and how to produce it in a precise manner. So providing all the details and the reports, how to adjust it, and support into how to adjust it to the local market. So they will get all the knowledge and only buy the cooling system, which is a minor part, which will cost much less than just to sell the whole product for them. And they would be also able to get some additional money because they are producing, so they are cutting the cost of shipping from the USA to their local country. So the margin could be increased for the potential partners.
Thank you. Is the patent worldwide, especially in China?
Yes, the cooling system is patented in Romania, Bulgaria, Australia, New Zealand, as well as China.
Thank you. Can you elaborate on the SaaS solution? What are the benefits to the customer?
Well, the main benefits for the customers are they don't have to set up, they don't have to maintain the software. They get all these features that are new instantly, because WPM will be in the backend managing all of this. So it's a huge benefit in customer experience on the one hand, and on the other hand, benefits for WPM and not just the customer are that they still have data which they can collect and analyze in further researches, for example.
Thank you. Do you see this as an approach that addresses overgrazing?
Sure, we definitely see this as an approach, because with the vaccination and also the birth control you can do to the animals, there is definitely the possibility to prevent overpopulation in every country.
Thank you. How can you ensure partners use WPM's solution for cooling when other solutions are or may become available for cooling?
That's a good question, since when we also said it a lot of times about this cooling system, but we should emphasize that it's not just this module. By using the base module and the other components as open source, you have the basic thing, and all the other models that come next will be fit into this together. So using a competitor's module might not fit directly in between. So the idea is that once in the game, you kind of a platform lock in if you want to. That's how we imagine it.
Thank you. We have about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. Okay, it moved. Let me get your next question. Some vaccines need cooling to very low degrees, like -70, and others just around 0 centigrade. Is it? How can one system be efficient on all levels?
Actually, we don't know all the technical details about the cooling system which exists, but according to the information from the company, we know that it could be adjusted. We don't know the whole limits, but we know that it could be adjusted to keep at this one particular temperature. So we don't know if all the vaccines could be covered by the cooling system, but definitely some big number of them could be applied with this. And of course, this is the point to be developed in future. So that is a very good idea to suggest.
Yeah, maybe I want to add something, that the system run by WPM runs on off-grid, on solar systems. And they said, since they are very in the south, they have no problem with solar energy, but using the system at other places might pose problems with the power efficiency. So they are still researching and developing this technology, and that's why we think they should focus on this one and leave the sales and the marketing outsourced.
Thank you. The companies you mentioned are not competitors, but the agro-technology companies in the world might be. Did you check those tech producers?
In my research, I checked a lot of different competitors and found that most of them produces like the chip for animals, and especially in the farming industry, this is used, but still has to be done by one person. And also with the vaccination process, it has to be done by a person. And there is not a station like WPM has. So everything has done by hands, even though there are like vaccination guns or something like that. But however, WPM has a very huge advantage in this case.
Thank you. What is the funding requirement to start your project?
Well, nearly to none, since the technology is there, and we proposed a crowdfunding as part of a marketing campaign. And using this money, you can work on further promoting and elaborating on this project, and especially the social community aspect. So the initial funding is very low.
Just add on it that probably the main investment should be done firstly into the production of the cooling system in order to raise the first orders. But we still clearly understand that building the community and those people who would be really interested into saving the wildlife will take some time. So probably it will be more like a steady growth from the very beginning, but only becoming faster with the exponential, because more people will know about the project. So probably this is a more long-term concern from this perspective. So the initial cost will be really low.
Thank you. We have about a minute left in the session. How does the envisioned margin on the sales of cooling systems compare with a healthy R&D budget at WPM?
The selling of the cooling system isn't just the only source. We at the beginning mentioned that we do crowdfunding, mainly for getting the attraction or the attention of some partners, but also it is like a bonus for WPM. The money they get from the crowdfunding then could be also used for research and development.
I want to add that the thing about R&D budget is when you have an open source system, especially when the base module, of course, the whole community can contribute to this system. So there's less need in research and development for these components at least.
Okay, this session has ended. I would like to thank you very much for joining us again, and congratulations on sharing the grand prize. Well done. Judges, I ask you to go to your scorecards, and this is the KEPLER team number 2.
Thank you very much, Linda, and also thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure working with you.
Thank you. We had a great time.
Enjoy the further presentations.
I hope to see you all back next year.
Of course. See you then. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we are about to begin the final session of the final presentation of the first session. This is the Johannes Kepler group number 3. Welcome back. This is one of our top scoring teams over the last 2 days. So we are excited to have you join us again today. The same rules apply. The session will last for 20 minutes. You have 10 minutes to present. At 2 minutes, I will post it in the Q&A section. At 1 minute, I will post your time remaining, and I will turn my camera on when you see me. That means that you have only a minute left. Any time over your 10-minute presentation will be deducted from the Q&A session. Judges, I ask that all questions be asked in the Q&A tab. And if you are ready to begin, I will start your clock when you start.
Okay, thank you, Linda. So good day, everyone. First of all, it's a great pleasure to be a part of this competition, and thank you for having a chance to participate today. So let's move to the topic of how we propose to scale up WPM company. We will start off our presentation by presenting our scaling solution. Then we will move on to presenting the opportunities that come with our scaling solution. Afterwards, we will follow with the states we suggest to target. Then we will explain our approach and analysis of the market, and it will be followed up by our funding strategy. And last but not least, we will then conclude our presentation by presenting the benefits of our strategy. So after researching potential different markets around the world, we quickly figured out that Central, Western, and Northern Europe would not be a promising market due to the existing wildlife protection programs instituted by the governments. And as the WPM hub requires specific servicing and maintenance, we decided to go for an expansion to a country that is close by. So therefore, our scale-up solution is to enter the global market through selling an adapted product for stray dogs to the Mexican government. So let's move to the opportunities now that WPM receives if they choose our strategy. So why do we target Mexico? The first reason is that there are the largest number of stray dogs in Latin America. In Mexico, a population of 23 million dogs has been estimated, with 70% of them classified as street dogs or stray dogs. The second reason is that currently there is a lack of wildlife protection and management programs in Mexico. Up to 2019, it was usual for wildlife and stray dogs to be handled by the people living in the area, and killing stray dogs was a normality. The third reason is that the stray dogs there can create health problems for humans. Stray dogs can transfer and spread rabies and other illnesses, which are very dangerous for people. In addition, some cities face challenges with rabid dogs that attack humans and pass on their illnesses. The next one is the geographical closeness. We think that for WPM at its beginning stage of scaling up, it's very helpful for maintenance and early issue reasons. This was also mentioned in the video and is a crucial part of their business model. And last but not least, Mexico can be a starting point for expansion to other countries with similar stray dog issues. As Mexico is not the only one country where there is a stray dog problem, it is also a hot topic and hot issue in other Latin American countries, African countries, Eastern European countries, and Asian countries too. So setting up a working product in Mexico can act as an ideal example for other countries to get interested afterwards. So why do we think that WPM should partner up with the government? First of all, the government is willing to invest in pressing points in urban areas, especially since the stray dog pressing points are a danger to humans as well. And secondly, in 2019, Mexico installed an Animal Care Act that has the goal to protect animals of all kinds from being inhumanly harmed. Therefore, Mexico has a new interest in a more humane treatment of stray dogs, and the responsibility is in most cases in government hands. So what regions do we target in Mexico? We looked at the market in Mexico in more detail, and we identified 8 regions that have tremendous stray dog problems. So we decided to focus on those, and we calculated that we could install approximately 35 hubs there. The largest region would be Mexico City, where we calculated around 20 hubs. Unfortunately, we could not find exact information on how many animals can be serviced with one hub, so we based our calculations on our assumptions.
Now to move on to the approach and the analysis. So our approach starts with recruiting personnel. Expanding to a new country takes a lot of resources, of course, and in our strategy, stocking up on personnel is essential. So we think that not only salespeople should be hired, because these, of course, would be taking care of sales services and after sales services, but also engineers should be hired. And outsourcing this over a recruiting company, for example, could really speed up the scale-up process. Next, marketing initiatives should take place, because even though we plan to go over a B2G strategy, so business to government, we strongly advise to push a few marketing actions, especially because they will be linked to our funding strategy, which we will actually talk about after this approach. The next step is to contact the government. Unless there's already an existing network to the Mexican government, we recommend this initial contact going over certain government agencies, especially the International Trade Administration of the US. So they offer a variety of services, for example, also over the Advocacy Center, but they also offer country commercial guides and export assistance. And then next, the product needs to be modified, of course. While this may sound like a lengthy process, we believe that with only a few slight modifications, it can be made suitable for dogs, such as through adding a ramp to avoid scaling down the entire hub, changing the food and adapting, of course, the vaccines and contraceptives to dogs, like adding rabies and other zoonosis shots. So we actually found that these types of vaccines and also contraceptive vaccines for dogs exist on the market already and are currently actually being used in the EU. And we also believe that this hub itself could readily be installed in New Mexico and then shipped to Mexico in a container, for example, so that it does not take too much time and effort to actually be assembled on the spot in Mexico. And additionally, it's also transportable then. Yeah, this idea of this portable hub actually goes hand in hand with our maintenance plan. So in line with the business plan, we believe that larger and more complicated maintenance actions and services should still be carried out by the personnel and the employees of the company. However, for stocking up vaccines, food, and so on, and other small maintenance things, we think that nonprofit organizations in Mexico and volunteers can support in this regard. And in addition, of course, government workers and volunteers can be trained on site by some of the maintenance, employees of the company. And then last, as this is usual in scaling up strategies, we also advise WPM to eventually outsource the production, especially once they go further than Mexico. So how do we plan on financing our proposed strategy? We believe that the humane treatment of dogs in general, but even more so of stray dogs, is actually a topic that emotionalizes a huge crowd and is something pretty much everyone can relate to. So therefore, we suggest crowdfunding and specifically reward crowdfunding. So rather than just receiving donations, we suggest offering rewards like an honorable mention on a supporters page or a customized WPM merchandise t-shirt for a certain amount of money that is donated to the project. And we also Indiegogo as the Indiegogo or crowdfunding platform of our choice for the specific project, because not only does the platform have a huge traffic and more than $2 billion raised in total for startups, but they also allow flexible funding goals, and they even provide specific categories on their website, specifically for environmental and animal projects, so it can help the people wanting to donate and wanting to find the project to find it easily on the website. And to link what I mentioned before in our approach to marketing plan, we believe, of course, that such a crowdfunding campaign must be strongly supported by marketing efforts. And we thought of celebrity endorsements, press releases, and of course, a social media campaign to raise the necessary awareness that is required to make such a crowdfunding campaign successful. And while we identified many US celebrities, Mexican celebrities that could share the cause, we also thought about going over rescue dog nonprofits with large social media followings, as these could also support in the cause. And in this that we found, MexPup Association, which is a Mexican nonprofit that focuses on adopting stray dogs. And to briefly sum up the benefits, so as stray dogs pose a huge issue for countries, not only in Mexico, but also in other Latin American countries, African countries, Eastern European countries, and so on. We believe that this product has much potential for expanding to other markets. Another benefit is, of course, the social responsibility factor, as it is a large benefit when marketing the company. So because of the crowdfunding, for example, and marketing the product, and also being eligible for funding and subsidies. And due to the high need of this product in Mexico and other markets, and we all actually see Mexico as a highly attractive market in this regard, we see, of course, high profitability in the long run. And last, recruiting personnel, our solution is in line with sustainable growth, meaning that because we suggest establishing the product in one market first, which is more manageable and profitable, rather than attempting sales at different markets all at once. So that sums up our strategy. Thank you a lot for listening, and we're looking forward to the Q&A.
Thank you very much. Again, this is the Johannes Kepler group number 3, and I would like to give credit where credit is due. They were co-tied yesterday for first place. So I would like to say well done, great job, and this was also a wonderful presentation. Judges, I ask that you please start putting your questions in the Q&A, and there is our first one. Did you check the position of stray dogs in Mexico in the mind of citizens?
Yeah, so it used to be seen as something that, of course, the people that live nearby sort of take care of, if I may say so. And killing a lot of stray dogs used to be, or still is in some areas, of course, the normality. However, because the government changed this, people that still shoot animals or shoot stray dogs could face legal consequences. So that's why we think that this opportunity is a huge one for WPM in Mexico.
Thank you. We have about 8 minutes left in the session. Next question. Okay, legal consequences, but who is going to contribute to the crowdfunding?
I can take that. So we believe that a global crowd can contribute to our product, because stray dogs is not something that is super abstract to most people, but it's like pretty much everyone has an opinion, and everyone has like pictures in their mind when they think about how people treat stray dogs. So we believe that pretty much the whole world is like the whole population, the global population can contribute to the project.
Thank you. Did you look into submitting a grant proposal to the Mexican government to receive funding to support your approach? If so, please explain outcome.
We looked into this just via our market research that we did for the strategy, but we actually did not approach the Mexican government, so we don't have any outcome of this.
Thank you. Why can't you make your product in Mexico itself?
So the idea of the product as we have it in mind is like that it's super easy to transport. So when you assemble it, you can pretty much move it without any like super lengthy process. And when it comes to the quality of the product, at first we would say that WPM should have control over the assembly themselves. Yet in the longer run, we think that the whole process could be outsourced. Mexico is a potential partner, but at first we think the production should be within WPM, and then after establishing the product and knowing about the minor issues that might happen if you first introduce a product to the market, then we can think about outsourcing.
Thank you. Where will you place the systems to protect form theft, vandalism, etc. in city areas?
So for the placement of the system, first of all, I would like to say that it's important to find strategic places where there's a lot of dog traffic. So you can actually achieve a huge benefit without having to build up that many locations and hubs. And to address the question with vandalism and form theft, we believe that the cameras that are installed within the hub can maybe also track like theft or vandalism. So probably the installed cameras can help out in that issue.
Thank you. Are non-fertility vaccines enough of a benefit? Quick internet research: fertility vaccines require repeat injections or injections in the testicles.
So the issue with repeated injections is also the case for the horses, actually. So they always need to be refreshed after a certain amount of time. So we assume that the hub tracks this due to the RFID chips. And regarding the non-fertility vaccines, if they're enough of a benefit, so the rabies problem and other zoonosis problems are a huge issue in Mexico. So that's sort of actually, it might even be more important than the contraceptive vaccines. So we think that that's probably where the biggest benefit lies. And we also saw that research that these vaccines, especially the rabies vaccines, that they actually can be cooled, as they have to be cooled down to about -4 degrees. And the hub is actually able to do this. So we don't see an issue there.
Maybe also adding on to that, I think it's a benefit for the company, because when you think about revenue streams, of course, you can sell the product with the margin, but you also have recurring revenues. Like, for example, you can change your business model in a way that the product, the hub itself, is just sold at the production price, but the recurring revenues will make up for that. So if you think about a model like you get a certain amount for 1,000 vaccines, and that would be a business model that is profitable in the long run.
Thank you. We have about 3.5 minutes remaining. Dogs come in all sizes. Do you think this is an issue?
Yeah, we researched this as well because it did come up as an issue, of course, when looking into our strategy. Most of the dogs in the cities actually have a similar size. They're medium-sized dogs. Of course, when it comes to the very small dogs that are still stray dogs, because I'm sure they also exist, these would probably be more difficult to target through the hub. But due to a customization of the hub itself, we think it still might be possible.
We have the SPCA here in the US. Does it make sense to work with them and instruct them as to the installation and use of the system?
We're not American. Is that like an animal rescue?
Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Okay, yeah, we so we focus mostly on really exporting, but of course, working with them might actually help when contacting the Mexican government. So that would be a good idea, but we didn't look into that issue any further.
Thank you. You may find India another possible country, but easy to succeed. There doesn't seem to be a question, so I'll move on. Did you check if pharma companies could co-invest in these delivery mechanisms of their products? We have about a minute and a half.
So I think it's a great opportunity for the pharma industry, because we see the market not only Mexico in the long run, but the stray dog problem is like pretty much around the world. And if they cooperate with a company that serves all these markets and get their vaccine in, then I think it's a huge benefit for them as well to cooperate with us, and maybe also find a long-term partnership that would benefit both parties.
Thank you. Did you check if pharma companies could co-invest in these delivery mechanisms of their products? Did I ask that already?
I think I just answered that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. In many countries, there are state-based stray dog catchers. Is your idea to work together with such public servants?
So I think there can be a partnership, for example, when we talked about refilling the vaccination and stuff like that. But I think the product itself will manage a lot, like the capacity of dogs that can be treated is so much higher with the product than it would be just with manual work. So yeah, we see the potential for them to partner with us for maintenance and refilling purposes, but we see a huge benefit for the product when it comes to the capacities of animals treated.
Thank you. We have run out of time in this session. I'd like to thank the judges for their excellent questions, and I would like to thank the JKU team number 3 for their participation and their excellent presentation. We are going to